Hi, good to see everyone again. This video is about how to build up your beehives super fast and the most strategic way of doing it. So first I want to ask you a question. Assuming you're a beekeeper for some time, and even if you're just new, I'm going to ask you a question if you're relatively new. Let's say it's a good honey day. I mean, the bees have been gathering a lots of nectar, right? So, and you touch the frames, you shake them. Let's say you do it during the honey flow, right? In afternoon, like 3 or so, 4, whatever. You have a frame with some honey, you shake it a bit. The nectar basically just falls out, right? Right. So it's very watery, has a very high moisture content. Or is it very thick that it doesn't fall out? No, it's very watery. We all know that. And what happens in the hive in terms of brood? What does the queen do when there is a lot of honey coming in? She's super excited. Bees are excited, working like crazy, and she's laying a lot of eggs, right? So when the conclusion is, when there is watery, the conclusion is when there is very watery substance, sweet substance coming into the hive, the queen is being activated. That's what the conclusion, very watery. So, and I'm not going to break all the rules from everybody you have heard, and you probably haven't heard it from anybody. But I know that the professional beekeepers and the professional beekeeping companies, for instance, even listed on the stock market, they are using this method. I was taught this method basically very long ago. As a kid, I had bees, and we'll see if I can find that article on the video. When I was a kid, I was already enjoying the bees. But the key method is that they get a very watery substance. And if there is no flow, you can still give them a very watery substance. So that's not 101, how the books teach you, or 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, or 2 parts water, 1 part sugar. Way too thick. Because what happens when you give them that thick stuff? They store it. They love it, yeah. They store it. But then the whole house gets chocolate with honey and or sugar, and there's nowhere to store for the queen to lay, no left cells. So don't make it too thick. Of course, if they are doing very well in breeding, they don't have much food. Of course, you want to make it thicker. It's all, basically this video is an invitation to play. Because there's no food stores, of course they need to have a little bit thicker. And then maybe you want to give them 2 parts water, 1 part sugar. But let's say you're coming out of winter and just early spring. If it's very early and you're in a cold climate, they maybe don't want to drink the really watery stuff. That's stage B, and that's normal because also nature doesn't provide the watery nectar. But like it's, let's say, already in spring you have temperatures of between 16 and 20 degrees. Of course, you want to give them in that scenario the watery stuff. And then I'm speaking about, I've been giving them even in the past, but that's an extreme example, 5.5 water to 1 sugar. That's an extreme example. I would go thicker. But a very successful substance is 4 parts water, 1 part sugar. But again, play with it depending on the amount of stores they have. And if a lot of honey is coming in, of course, you don't need to feed them. But it's about bridging the gap between the real summer flow and winter when they come out. So in the spring, just to have them build up like crazy in spring. Because what happens if you don't do anything? They just sit still. They don't do anything. Like a soldier in front of the gate. They just do nothing. Because nothing is coming in, so they don't build up. Maybe a little bit, because if they would build up like idiots, they would burn the food stores and they would die. So nature stops them. But you want them, I guess, if you're a little bit business-minded, but also if you like the bees, you like to see them happy, and you want them to build up. So to make a long story short, you want to give them an unlimited supply of watery syrup. And then comes the next question, the right feeders, but I will do another video about that. But basically, You want to give them a feeder they can clean themselves, but they can't drown in it. That's the kind of feeder you want to give and have. So, but after they've drinking the syrup, there is a separation wall with a little hole, and only after they finish drinking the syrup, they can go through it and clean the whole feeder. And after they are done with that, they withdraw into the hive, and then you have a clean feeder. Never gets stinky, yucky, moldy, because with watery stuff it gets moldy. That's a key thing. So then they can withdraw. So that's really an important key. And that's basically what you want to do. And give them always, when there is no honey flow, you can give them always watery feed. Always except in autumn. And then I'm speaking about autumn. I did already about wintering down for colder climates. If you're in a warmer climate, you can definitely stimulate them till the end of September, in the southern hemisphere till March. You can definitely do that. And after that, you need to be careful. Why? Because again, it depends on which climate you are in. That's really important, the climate and the night temperatures. If it's a colder climate and you give them that watery stuff, you basically chase them out of the hives, the bees, and and because it's late in the autumn, you get per 2 bees that die 1 egg. So you don't want to have that. So then it's better to slow down. But that's a bit depends on the climate and the flow, what's outside, the weather conditions. I've seen very exposed sites. If you stimulate them, the hives shrink. So you stimulate them, but you get an opposite result. So that's really, if you have good, warm, sheltered sites, you can continue even doing that. And make it temporary, let's say in March, make it thicker to give them some stores, and then continue with the watery stuff again. So they continue having brood. So, and when it gets really cold in the winter, they will stop anyway drinking it. But then in July, August, the whole thing repeats itself. In spring, July, August, and I'm speaking the southern hemisphere. And the northern hemisphere, I'm speaking about January, February. If it's a warm climate, a colder climate, of course later. So that's very important. This way they're basically always building up and always growing, and you get a crazy amount of bees because you know how much they lay in a flow, and this way you have that artificial flow always. So that's my main key thing, and there's a few other things I will make other videos about. But anyway, I wish you the best with the beekeeping, and really a lot of pleasure in seeing your beehives do well. And actually, that's what I'm doing. That's how I make some money, and what I enjoy doing. And I hope that you will not need to buy beehives from me anymore, because you're going to be successful in it as well. Anyway, all the best. Bye-bye.